All right. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Italian Football TV. As you can see, things look a lot different right now. We've gotten an upgraded table. We threw Antonio's out in the trash where Cassano belongs. Ooh. We got better microphones. We've got 3 camera angles.
Look at this table.
The table is beautiful. And we have our Black Friday sale, which is still going on all of our Calcio tees. 25 to 30% off everything.
Guys, you're probably watching this on Thursday. It's going to end Thursday night Eastern time.
So you still got a little while.
A little time.
Unfortunately, we can't induct this with all of the Italian teams going through in the Champions League because of today. But, we're going to have to make the best of it. Yeah. Antonio, first off, what do you think about this beautiful table?
Listen, anything that you find on the trash that is free is okay with me.
Not for the trash.
Listen, I didn't even know you had 3 cameras. Which one do I look at?
Nothing. Don't worry. Just look at us.
Just look at us.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Next time, can I sit on that side or make him sit as
No, we set it up perfectly. That one is on you perfect.
Okay. It shows you.
It doesn't want to face me.
Yeah. We programmed this perfectly because Antonio likes to talk to Peter and you the most.
Wow.
So we could keep him right across from him with the mic because he has trouble. I always have to move
the
his
music,
mic.
basically.
There we go.
All right.
So anyway, guys, let's go into the Champions League first. Then we'll touch upon Serie A. Then we'll get some fan questions. And then we'll throw in some fun stuff because we got a lot of fun questions later on. Champions League. Start off with what we just watched today. I know, Gaetano, your dad, you didn't see it. Antonio, you missed some of it. But Peter, Michael, and I all watched the games together. We thought it was going to be a beautiful day because there was an opportunity for Inter with a tie or win to go through, to go automatically through, along with Juventus and Roma, who won yesterday. And Napoli, if Liverpool was able to beat PSG. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way. And surprisingly, Inter did not play well today either. They lost and they didn't play well. Pete, what'd you think?
No, it was another poor performance after, I think, also the Barcelona game. We were able to sneak a tie there. But today's game was really, really it was frustrating to watch, especially in the first half. Nainggolan wasn't looking like the Nainggolan that we saw in the beginning of the year. And we've seen when he's not on, our midfield tends to struggle. Tottenham, of course, this was a game that they had to win at all costs. So definitely, that has an influence on the game. And playing in Wembley Stadium, Pochettino actually made a couple of changes with his formation.
The Eriksen.
He didn't have Eriksen and he didn't have Son, but then he was able. That made the difference in the second half when he was able to put these players in. Inter made a first half sub. Nainggolan went out with injury, and Borja Valero came in, which, believe it or not, he actually changed the game a little bit. When Tottenham eventually scored in the 80th minute, Inter was actually playing not better than Tottenham, but better than what they were playing before, and they had a couple of chances. So it was during their better time, better part of their game when Tottenham actually scored. The goal came from, poor defensive tracking of the player. The player made a 30-yard run into the box, made the cross, and it was way too easy for Tottenham to score that goal. And unfortunately, it puts us in a difficult situation because now Inter lost the opportunity to control their destiny, and Tottenham controls the destiny, even though they're going to play away at Barcelona. So Inter's not completely out, but it would have been huge to tie or win this game.
Because it would have been automatic qualification.
It seemed like they were playing for the draw, even though Spalletti was saying, listen, we're going to go for the win. It was like we never played for the draw and all that stuff. And they just didn't look... Yeah, like you said, maybe it was whenever Raja's, I feel like, not on his game, the whole team doesn't really click. And they were playing very defensive. Spurs hit the post. They had a few chances.
Spurs played well, though.
They played good.
I can't take it away.
That's what I'm saying.
Spurs played good, and the midfield was gone.
With 10 minutes to go, you can't lose that game. You cannot lose that game. Whatever you have to do. I saw the goal that they scored, and if I remember correctly, the guy had 4 Inter defenders around him. And nobody, and the 2 guys were all alone on the left side, right? But he came from his right side, and he started cutting in. And while he was cutting in, there were like 4 defenders from.
no one
What the
foul
hell are
or
you
try to-
doing?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you put a wall. There's 10 minutes to go. You put a wall in front of. You put 2 walls there, and you don't let anybody play.
But sometimes it happens.
You know.
I know.
Sometimes you can see you
can't
don't
always
want
prevent
to.
it.
No,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
good teams that you cannot lose that game with 10 minutes to go.
Spalletti was
Especially
stressing.
if if you tie that game, you're in,
through.
right?
Yeah,
you're in. Now if
complicated.
if Inter wins and Tottenham wins,
Tottenham is through.
is why?
Because they scored in Italy.
Yeah, because the
The
goal
away goal.
differential, they have the away goal that counts. the head to head.
because they
They
head to
score-
head they score.
They
one,
scored in San
one
Siro.
goal.
This is how
Okay.
Inter have to go through. This is how it sits. Inter qualifies if Inter wins and Tottenham loses or draws in the Camp Nou at Barcelona. And when's the last time Barcelona lost a home game?
2013.
So, and the other way that Inter go through is if Inter ties and Tottenham lose.
All right, Barcelona is already in, right? They got 13
So
points,
they're
so they're
in at
already in.
first.
I think
They're in first
What do you
place.
think, Anto?
So would they put the best team in there? But even if they don't put the best team,
They
I
still have
mean,
a very strong squad, and they're
you
gonna put
know,
most of the players. Maybe Messi won't play, but they still have very
anybody
strong
that
players.
you put in, it's pretty good.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I think they might wanted to play the trick to Inter. I don't know. Maybe historically they seen that Inter took away a Champions League from them with our famous
I thought about
Mourinho.
that.
I
Listen to
don't
me.
know.
This is something that you need to think about it. Those guys that might say, "Hey, listen, you know what? This time here, let's just downplay everything." Inter came over a few years ago with Mourinho, and then they starting to jerk us around. So maybe they'll.
I don't
They'll,
think.
they'll
I don't.
pull the
I don't think
upset.
it doesn't
Well-
work that way. I think what happens is, but Tottenham has everything to lose. Barcelona doesn't have any stake in the game, so that's the only real difference. You know, Tottenham's gonna do everything they can to win, and Barcelona's already qualified, so that changed. I don't think
Listen.
you think, oh, we're gonna screw Inter, we're gonna do something.
Listen, in soccer, revenge it's always it's there.
Yeah, but you also have to play well in front of your home fans because you got your team, your fans paying to watch you play. So there's a certain level of professionalism that you
Listen,
have to
Barcelona, they're not gonna just lay down and
No,
let
I
Tottenham
agree,
take
yeah.
over the
But
game.
it's not
gonna
like
happen.
kids
Barcelona-
play. Kids
Barcelona
that want to
don't do that.
prove that they should be playing.
Don't think
That's
the
usually what
Primavera
happens.
squad's all gonna play. There's gonna be a
I
few
mean,
differences.
I'm sure
I don't
Messi's
think
not
everything's
going to play. But
maybe Messi-
whatever.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Maybe
it's not happening?
maybe
I'm
Messi's
just-
not.
I'm
Maybe he's
gonna
gonna
play.
play half a game.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
he'll play.
assuming. I'm
Exactly.
assuming
Yeah.
that he wouldn't.
So
But either way, Inter, there's nothing they could do. They
Yeah.
have to. It's not in their hands. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Most of them,
Napoli,
they have
like if
to
we
win.
talk about
That's it.
Napoli is the complete opposite. Napoli is all in their hands. You know, they're first place in this group.
just let me say something about Tottenham. Tottenham, the last 2-3 games on the English Premier and even on the Champions League, has been doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, versus
Everywhere.
Chelsea.
In a good way.
Yeah,
They won. They beat Chelsea
they
3-1.
built Chelsea with
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
the orange squeezer of Sarri.
What the hell
You
does
know,
that
today
mean?
when
What's orange squeezer
I'll tell
mean?
you why I called him the orange squeezer. Today I went to get a juice. I'll
The
tell
guy
you.
looked like Sadi.
I went to get a juice. I said, "Can you give me an orange?"
Orange juice.
Fresh squeeze.
Yeah. So the guy took a bunch of orange and he threw them into the processor, the food processor, and all the juice just came out. I said, "Oh, this reminds me of Sarri squeezing the Napoletani, the team of Napoli until the last drop, until they couldn't do anything. So they lost into the Champions League, they lost into the UEFA League,
That's
and they lost to the
hilarious.
Campionato. That's what it made me think about it.
What a reference. Football's always on your mind.
You're having
Right.
a smoothie and you're thinking about
I
Spalletti.
said,
How
"Oh,
crazy
look at
is
that! Look at that
Sarri.
juice! Look at that
Sarri.
juice! Oh, sorry.
Sadi.
So
That's
now
very funny.
Napoli has to go to Liverpool,
Yeah.
and they can lose.
I'll explain Napoli
Yeah,
right
go
now.
Napoli.
I'll explain, then
Okay.
we'll talk about the game a little bit. It's very complicated, so stick with
Yeah.
me. Napoli, they need to win or tie versus Liverpool.
If they
Okay?
do that, they're through.
They're through.
But
They're good,
it
they're
gets
good.
more
Now,
complicated.
they will.
If
will.
they lose, and if they lose by one goal, they have to lose by one goal, and they have to score at least one goal. So if they lose 2-1, okay, 3-2, okay, because they had to score at least one, and PSG must win or lose. Win or lose, not tie. PSG can't tie. Who does PSG have to play? Slipped my mind. Who is it?
Red Star.
Red Star.
Belgrade, yeah.
In Red Star. So PSG has to win or lose. Napoli can lose by 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, whatever. Then they will be through. Third option. This is where it gets complicated, and Peter's going to help me out. If Napoli lose and PSG tie, it goes to a 3-team head-to-head.
Aye.
Peter, explain it.
So 3-team head-to-head is pretty much like a round robin amongst the 3 teams. So in the case that Liverpool wins versus Napoli, they would have 6 points in total because they beat PSG once and they beat Napoli once. So they would have 6 points and they would go as the group leaders into the next round. Then PSG and Napoli will both have 5 points because PSG beat Liverpool and then tied twice versus Napoli, which would be a total of 5 points. And Napoli as well beat Liverpool and then tied twice versus PSG and will have 5 points. So then from the head-to-head, PSG and Napoli now would have to go into goal differential. So Napoli, if they lose versus Liverpool, better hope that they score a lot of goals. So if they lose, let's say 4-3, then they would have that space.
So it's going to be a thriller until the last minute.
Exactly.
I think I have faith that Napoli is going to pull it through.
Ancelotti said, we're not going to do any calculations. He said, we're going to go there
and play the game.
and we're going to try to win.
Yeah.
But Liverpool, it's in Anfield. Liverpool have not been playing good football. I should remind you, because Liverpool, the way that they were playing today, I mean, there was a few times they received a penalty kick. Buffon did really well, actually, for PSG. But their defense, especially on that, I think, was it the second goal where Mbappe was running through the entire defense? I mean, like nothing. Like there's no defenders anywhere for Liverpool. And Salah can't even play at all. He is doing horrible right now. Salah is having a bad moment. Firmino, he even took Firmino out. They put Shaqiri in. Verratti was bodying Shaqiri. Liverpool did not look good at all today.
Good. That's good news.
Which is good.
I saw a couple of the goals. I would like to know when Cavani kicked the ball, it came off the goalkeeper, and then Neymar scored. Did Cavani go and congratulate
Neymar?
Cavani go and congratulate Neymar? Because I didn't see that.
He wasn't there.
We all talked about how he was probably upset that Neymar was the one to take the ball. No, I didn't see it either.
Did they go and congratulate? Because I saw it then when Neymar was dancing with Mbappe and Cavani was far away.
Maybe he doesn't know the dance.
That's
like each other.
That's all good stuff for Napoli. Maybe,
Why? Because
maybe they
Cavani
can
might
get Cavani.
go?
Yeah, why not?
I wouldn't take him. Listen to me.
Listen,
This guy's got couple years. Why would you take a
washed
washed-out player?
Because
already?
what Napoli needs now is a center forward.
Well,
That's
take
what they need.
Take Ibrahimovic from
handing them around now.
Ibrahimovic is in. We got to make a video where Ibrahimovic comes to America.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
We recorded something before, but I think like you're talking about Napoli and their center forwards.
They got no center forwards.
Let me just say, Mertens scored 2 tonight.
That's true.
And Mertens is the top goal scorer in Napoli's history in Europe.
In Europe,
he scored 20 goals. Cavani at the same time in Napoli scored 19. And I think Cavani scored 100 goals in all competitions.
But look
for
at
Napoli
this, and
right
Insigne's been scoring. He's been on fire.
Sorry,
But Insigne has been on fire too for Napoli. So maybe it looks like they don't really need a center forward.
Insigne,
but then you tie against Chievo. You know, you need a center forward. Okay, that's all and well, and if they're doing fine. But what happens with the other teams? The other teams have alternatives. When Juventus plays bad, when another team they bring in players.
That's true.
They can make a difference. Napoli needs to bring in a center forward. Now the
Milik.
center
They got
forward
Milik
was supposed to be Milik, but Milik 1 year he got hurt and he didn't play. He didn't play for what? For a year and a half. You know, you need to bring a center forward that makes the difference
and who can guarantee you goals.
Right.
So you think bringing Cavani
Can you imagine Cavani center forward with Insigne on one side and Mertens on the other side? Oh wow!
But you're gonna move Mertens out of his spot.
Mertens has already
know
moved
if
out
it's
of
gonna
position.
work.
Mertens wasn't a center
Mertens
forward.
is not a center
He
forward.
wasn't a
It's a
center forward.
He's
false
already
nuovo.
he's-
One of these days we're gonna do another tactical
He's been
corner
playing so good
and
as
talk
a
about
false
the false
nine.
nuovo.
Gaetano, he's been playing so good as a false nine. If you move him around,
So-
how do you know he's not?
So you're gonna be a false nuovo. So you
yeah,
can do
so-
it. What does it mean? He starts center forward and then he comes back. That's what it's gonna do.
But listen,
so
is
Cavani,
everything,
let's say
you're messing
Cavani,
up with the
let's say
tactics too much, I
Cavani
feel
starts on the left. And Mertens stands in the middle, right? Then Mertens comes back, and Cavani goes in the middle, and he's behind the two forwards.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I don't
You could
remember
even
who it was.
change formation.
There was
man, that would be
huge,
nice
there was
to
a
see.
huge coach one day that they asked him about signing a big player, right? They said signing a big. They go, but if you sign this big player, your guy in the bench is gonna be mad. Your center forward is gonna be mad. He goes, the greatest problem in the world is to have too many great players. He goes, that is the best problem to deal with. He says the worst problem is when I have two great players and then they both get hurt or they don't do this. He goes, I would much rather deal with the personality of how to fix it in training than not have the player at all, which I think is at the end the point. I want to ask you guys, let's go around. Peter, starting with Peter, is Inter going to qualify?
Yes, because Barcelona hasn't lost since 2013, and Inter's got to do their job.
Yeah, Inter's going to qualify.
I say yes too.
Unpopular opinion. No, I'm kidding. Inter's going through.
Anto.
I would say yes because the team they're going to be facing is garbage. So
don't say that.
Easy, garbage.
Come
They
on.
gave Barcelona.
I never heard
Seriously.
about it. I never heard about the team that
PSV?
PSV.
They're a very good team. Blue
Okay.
like
Don't count
PSG,
them out.
right?
Now we go around the reverse. Is Napoli going to qualify?
100%.
Yes, I agree.
I think so too. Yes.
I'm very, very worried about Napoli.
Oh,
Really?
man.
Yeah.
You don't think that they're going to win or tie?
Man, that Liverpool playing home, it's got to be one of the toughest places to play. Oh my God!
They're chokers. They're going to choke.
Very,
They
very,
choke.
very difficult.
I don't think
But the
that they're
thing
going to
is-
get a win, but I do think that a tie is. I
Even
think
if
that
they
it can
don't
be.
win, though, there's a
They
lot
might
of scenarios on their side.
They might win.
so-
It could be.
Ancelotti is not the first time that he's been through this stuff here.
If there's ever a team that has choked before, it's PSG. So
Let me tell you
PSG can do it.
something.
Let Peter answer
That's true.
first. Peter didn't finish.
I think Napoli's going to lose, but they're going to lose with the right scoreline and go through. It's going to be crazy, but
no.
that's something I see. I see a 2-1. Napoli's going to be able to score.
Listen,
Napoli's gonna
Napoli
be able
beat
to
them
score.
already at home, and they could have won at least by an additional two goal
Yeah, but
differential.
you're-
So they know the strength and they know the weakness of Liverpool.
You're
So what they're
playing
going
in
to do?
Anfield.
So what?
It's different.
It's the same square. It's the same rectangle. I mean, there was a goalkeeper on his side and a goalkeeper on the other
It
side.
changes.
I'll tell you what. Napoli is going through like butter.
Oh.
I mean, if you think so, let's go to the other games. Juventus beat Valencia 1-0 at home. Another game we watched here. And I think that I know my dad has a different opinion because we talked about this already. But I was pretty disappointed in the way that Juventus played. I think that Juventus often, too much this season, they hold that 1-0. And they're very content and complacent with that 1-0 when you've got an attack that's still not fluid together. You see Dybala, you see Ronaldo, you see Mandzukic, you see Douglas Costa, you see Cuadrado. To me, they're not scoring enough goals, and they're not playing as well together. The scary part, the whole season, we're saying, is the defense going to be okay with Bonucci? Is the midfield going to be okay? You know, they didn't really bring in the guy that they were talking about. And the defense and the midfield have been very, very good. And the thing that seemed like the least problem was the attack. And now, I know that this is obviously an overreaction. I'm just playing devil's advocate because winning is always important. You win 1-0, and it goes on. You're right. You're onto the knockout stages. But when you play in big teams in Champions League, what happened against Manchester United? Maybe it only happened 1 out of 20 times, but it could happen again. And I think that it's just not a worrying side because when you got Ronaldo, and this guy's incredible. I mean, Ronaldo he is such the difference maker in these matches that it's incredible. And I think that we will talk about how he's fit into the Serie A come, but that was my takeaway from Juventus, and I was very annoyed.
Who scored? He did?
Mandzukic.
Mandzukic.
Ronaldo
He made
gave a
his
great
assist.
Ronaldo get a
assist.
great assist.
I mean that was my feeling about the match.
No, I agree with you a lot, Marco. We talked about how Juve always they always get that 1-0 lead, then they kind of wander off. They start not to play good and all this stuff, and they risk conceding. But a lot of times they don't concede. But then you see play times like against Manchester United how that happens. I do feel like they gotta improve on that. But then again, we knew time and time again the past few years that Juve always been playing like this in the group stage. Then towards the knockout
Usually worse.
stages, it
Juve's
usually works.
playing much worse.
But the knockout stage, that's when they start gelling together and they don't make those mistakes and start playing better overall as a team. Because we know a lot of players like Dybala's not clicking, Douglas Costa's not clicking.
Dybala's there.
He's in and out. He's in and out.
Anto, you watch the game?
I'll tell you what. I didn't watch the game, but I know.
But you know, from instinct, you know.
I just been watching Juventus the last 6 or 7 games. Every time that the ball on Juventus is being forced to go through Ronaldo somehow. Okay. Even though Ronaldo doesn't score the vast majority of the time, but the game and the play is being forced to go through him. Last year, Juventus didn't have this kind of a forced ball situation that everything has to go through Ronaldo right there on the middle. Then Ronaldo whether decided to take a shot or whether decided to maybe to make an assist. So this is one of the reasons why in Juventus the goals are a little less this year. and Ronaldo is scoring most of them, and not a lot of other players are contributing into the score sheet.
I wouldn't say that. I
I'll
think
tell you what,
Mandzukic
he's
is
taking a
contributing.
lot,
Dybala.
but he's taking a lot more shots away from Dybala and other players than last year. They were just taking shots from all over the places. This year, there are some of those players are thinking about it before they take a shot. Maybe they're looking for Ronaldo if it's open first, because the superstar is going to say, "Hey, I was open. Why you didn't give me the shot?" So that's why I think there is less chances that Juventus is putting on the score sheets, because they force the play through Ronaldo. And they look for him all the time.
What do you guys think?
No, I think what Juve does is they do enough to win the game, and then they settle down. So no, I don't think so. I mean, they put pressure, they scoring goals. Pjanic is solid. He always plays a great game. This kid Betancourt, it's unbelievable. He came out of nowhere. Last year he didn't play that much. This year he's been now it's 7-8 games in a row.
Playing a lot.
And he's
I'm still not.
no, he's a solid player. I mean, how old is he? He's very young.
He's 21.
He's 21 years old. Look where he's playing with one of the best teams in the world, and he's got personality, and he's staying with the rest of the team. Yesterday, I mean, he had two forwards, Ronaldo and Mandzukic, another half a forward, which was Dybala. He brought in Quadrado as a right full back. He brought in Costa. I mean, you're playing with almost four forwards at one point. So it's not that they always say he's very defensive. It's just that I think once the competition gets better, they will get better with the competition. If the team that they play against is better, I think they will play better.
Not yet.
And Ronaldo the guy is magic. I mean, the assist that he gave Mandzukic yesterday, out of nowhere, is so quick, and the goal that he scored on Sunday is unbelievable. Is so fast, and the timing is very, very good. So no, I mean, Juventus, they're in first place. I mean, they're going through. I won't. We have to see the next round. I think they're going to raise their level.
In the knockout
Pete, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, Juventus, they're creating the chances. It's not a matter of not creating the chances. It's just about finalizing them. But in the meanwhile, they're still getting 1-0 win. The defense is strong. They're controlling the match, which is very important. And I in agreement with Gaetano as far as who they're gonna verse in the next round. In two games, you always have Juventus as a favorite, because the players that Allegri has so much of a choice. He can play whichever way, and he has anyone on his bench or who's starting, and he can mix it up in so many different ways. So in the case where Juventus has to win, he can add a third, a fourth, a fifth striker if he wants. In the case where he has to defend, he'll be able to add the defensive-minded midfielder or put players out of position, like we saw Quadrado playing right back. So I mean, Juventus has a star team. They might not be clicking, but they're winning. So that's the most important thing.
Let me just say something, Mike.
Let me just say something real
Go
quick.
ahead.
Milan remind me of Juve in terms of not closing the games and always scared the last 30 minutes or stuff. Because you're always like, when you watch both games, like, well, is Juve gonna score another goal? If not, something can happen. Same thing with Milan.
One plays with the back line of Zapata, Abate, and Ricardo Rodriguez. Another one plays Joao Cancelo, Bonucci, Chiellini, and Alessandro.
Best defenders in the world, you're still gonna concede. So
By the way, Joao Cancelo, guys, this guy is we're talking about attackers. He's not even an attacker, but the assist that he gave to Ronaldo and the way he ran on the left side, not even the right side, the left side.
That's what's crazy. Juventus has two attacking-minded left back and right back, fullbacks. Yeah. I do not know how they do not concede so many goals, because if you have those two guys going up, you would think that you can concede.
Yeah, but when Quadrado goes up, the midfielder
Matuidi
covers. When Alexandro goes up and Matuidi is on the left side,
if you show Gaetano's video, you'd know that, right?
Yeah.
Anto, go. Say what you're going to say, because we cut you off.
This is what's going on the last few years. I'll tell you what's going on even in terms of a structure of the teams. This is my analysis.
Even the structure of the team.
This is my analysis. It's all psychological. there are those big teams like Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, that they have two different type of contracts. One contract is with the superstar or the franchise player, quote unquote, and the rest of the contract is with the rest of the team. So I think when the presidente and the coach sits down with all the team at one point, and then he sits down with the franchise player one-on-one with the closed door. In other words, they tell them, hey, listen, the group over here has spent $200 million to sign you. We're expecting this, and this from you. Not too much pressure, but
that's pretty normal, though.
That's not pretty normal. That's
When
not
you're
pretty
signing-
normal. Years
No?
ago,
Anybody else?
years ago was not the situation. Years ago, you'll have, for example, for Inter Milan was Mazzola was the leader of the team, but Mazzola was not forced to score. Actually, Mazzola very rarely scored. There were other players. On AC Milan was Rivera. On Fiorentina was Antonioni. On the Roma was Totti. Totti was a superstar regardless. He was scoring. It was just
So
assisting.
you're saying that they put too much into the hands of Ronaldo?
Yes. Look what happened today, for example, on Inter. Icardi didn't score. Who picked up the slack from Icardi? Okay?
That's true.
And even look, psychologically, when you're watching a game, I'll tell you what's going on. When Icardi scores, it's either you go to his wife, Wanda Nara, which is the manager, or let's say Ibrahimovic score, they go to what's his name, Raiola, or that's what they do. This is about individual player of that caliber having a different kind of a contract and relationship with the team, and then you have the rest of the team that they make just about collectively the salary that one player makes. Just been doing the work or the dirty work for this franchise player to do his job.
All right, let's move on. Roma.
The last group.
Roma did not win against Real Madrid. They lost. Disappointing match. I think that the elephant in the room that we're all thinking is if Under would have scored in the end of the first half, 46th minute. Beautiful ball by Zaniolo. I mean, incredible the way he beat his man and passed it. And Under, like you said in your words, it was harder to miss that one than to score that. He lobbed it right over. But to be honest, I really didn't expect Roma to get a result. I didn't expect a tie, and I didn't expect a win. I know that Real Madrid, they lost to Eibar and all this, but Real Madrid in the Champions League is a different beast, and I think that to always beat them or get a result was always going to be too tough for Roma.
I mean, I agree with you at some extent, but they played so sloppy, Roma. The first half, they didn't play bad. The second half, they conceded a goal that was that one of the defenders messed up. Fazio messed up with Olsen.
Kicked in, Fazio.
And then Cengiz Under in the first half, before the half ended, he missed a goal that you could have scored with your eyes closed. He just roofed it over. It was an empty net pretty much. And if they scored that one, who knows how the game would have ended. Just not good enough for Roma, and I don't know. Di Francesco's still on the hot seat, even though they qualified.
Did you see the play by Under?
I did.
Would you have scored that?
It's not easy to miss a goal like that.
You would have scored?
Oh, by far.
By far?
By far. Even with my eyes closed. Just smelling the ball, I would have just...
Very interesting. What do you guys think about the Roma? Anything to add, really? It's kind of hard to
Another
comment.
poor performance after losing to Udinese. 1-0. And now upcoming game versus Inter. It's going to be a tough week for Di Francesco.
I know.
Yeah, Roma is such a strange team. So far,
Hot and cold.
in the championship, they tie teams like Chievo. They lose to Udinese. Spal, all those teams, and you look at this team and say, you have a lot of talent there, but what happened? What happened to this team? Maybe there's no leadership there. Maybe they look at. I think the only leader in there is maybe De Rossi and Manolas. In the last couple of games in the championship, they didn't play. I think De Rossi was out and Manolas was out against Udinese. So I don't know. They're talking about they have no personality. I mean, once you hear commenting things like that about a team, that's pretty bad. Then you go into the Champions League, they already qualified. The team was already qualified, which the other teams are struggling. So they did pretty good.
Not that bad, right?
Yeah, they did pretty
Their
good in
group
the
was
Champions.
also
So
not the
what
hardest.
happens when when they go to the Champions? Is that maybe
The motivation.
they're motivated. Maybe they
Maybe the team's
I
not
think
deep
also.
enough.
I think also but the thing is with the Champions League. Look, they lost twice to Real Madrid. Bad, 3-0, 2-0. The other two teams,
Yeah.
considering the level, they're not as great. And then CSK,
Moscow.
yesterday, they gifted Roma the Champions League spot.
But
because by
CSK
losing
beat
for
Real
Victor
Madrid too.
Plzen.
Remember that
Yes,
time, which
they
is
did,
pretty crazy.
Which is crazy. But
Yeah.
the fact that
Real Madrid is not right now.
Right now, no,
they're
but-
not doing. I mean, they lost I think
but
3-0 on
yeah,
this
but then,
weekend.
then Roma lost 3-0 and 2-0 to Real Madrid.
And Roma lost this
So-
weekend, guys, to Udinese 1-0.
I don't know if this is
Well,
really.
they didn't have their best into the
Proof.
field.
They
and
didn't.
That's what I was looking at. I was
They
looking
didn't.
for Renzi sitting down. I was looking at a lot of players. Zeko came for the last 15 minutes.
I don't know.
But-
the Roma is such a Pastore. I mean, they bought Pastore.
And Zonzi,
they bought some players.
Watched out.
Cristante is supposed to be
A top player. Top.
good player.
Is there a buck on him?
But Pastore, who's a nice and he's very technical player, but he hasn't made he hasn't helped that much Roma. He hasn't made the difference
Well,
there.
even with PSG, but you can say that he hasn't really made a difference
he
with
was,
PSG when he was
didn't
there.
get
He didn't,
many
he
minutes.
didn't
Yeah,
change
he's
anything.
not the leader that
Yeah.
that
I think everybody was talking about this though too when he signed. They think that we said like it was a cool. I feel like it seemed better on paper almost.
we
than it
said
did.
if he signed a few more years
But
back, it would have been better.
What was okay? We brought it up. Okay, what was the necessity for Roma to sign somebody like Pastore? They want to try to plug a hole from left open from who?
They
Yeah, I
wanna,
don't-
they
you're
sort of
right.
want like a
You're right.
Nainggolan role in terms
They
of
had-
attacking.
they had
That's not a
good players
Nainggolan,
on that
but,
position.
but that's what they wanted.
It's not a 9
I don't think it's
He's a
a Nainggolan at all.
trequartista.
No.
That's what-
He's a yeah, but
Right.
they don't.
I know they didn't play him a Nainggolan that way. That's
Like you
why,
said,
which
Roma
was
is a
weird.
very complicated team. But anyway, we moved to the Campionato. We said Udinese, Roma lost 1-0. We discussed that. The other thing we got to talk about, since we're talking about disappointing results, Napoli 0-0 against Chievo Verona. Last place Chievo Verona, who was on 0 points at this time, they went to 1 point because they earned a tie. They sacked our boy Vendura.
Your boy, not our boy.
I say that sarcastically, obviously. But Napoli. It's, to me, I'll say this, I think everybody's overreacting. I think that this is a game where now Napoli lose, and I see these journalists post, I see them tweet out.
It's over already. The Campionato is over.
I read a tweet from a journalist that said, he said the Campionato was already almost over, right? Now it's completely over. And I think that is the biggest load of BS I've ever read because for two reasons. Number one, if you think that the Campionato is over in November, you have a losing mentality, number one. If a team thinks that because they are asking Ancelotti, if you ask the coach of a team in November if the Campionato is lost, that is the stupidest question I've ever heard. Number three, it's 8 points. Juventus tied to Genoa the other day. And nobody lost their mind. Nobody lost their mind. And I know everybody here is going to say, yeah, but it's Juve, Juve's not going to drop points. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. 8 points, and it's November. You cannot say that the Campionato is over. Somebody say something.
No, I agree with you. I mean, the people that say that it's not even December 1st. People are saying this. You lose a couple of games, that changes the whole.
What, Anto? What?
No, it
things
seems
of
to me that
everything.
you're wishing for something bad to happen to Juve, the way you just
No.
said, oh.
I see
the
things-
Campionato is not over. That means what else is there to be played? I mean, as I say, hey, Ancelotti has to put us a PR. He has to put a good face in front of the mic and he's going to say, hey, guys, the Campionato is not over.
You think it's over?
Because God forbid the guy says, hey, guys, you know what? The Panettone has got no races this year.
Nah,
so,
listen.
Antonio-
You know why? Ancelotti's on a different level than everyone who thinks that. Ancelotti doesn't think, oh, I lost it. Because he's a world-class coach.
I don't think
and a
anybody,
winner.
no,
Ancelotti's
nobody
a winner.
considers
What do you
so
think?
far. I don't
What do you
think,
think?
no, nobody, the Campionato is not over by far.
Here's the thing. The point is not that a team is going to say, okay, we give up. Juventus won it. That's it. The real, looking at it, Juventus, they have to drop a lot of points because, yes, it's only 8 points, but that is if Napoli doesn't drop any more points.
Let's
or
say
Inter
5
doesn't
points.
drop any more
Let's
points.
say 5 because Napoli should
Yeah.
beat Juventus then, we'll just say.
I'm saying it's not over, But Juventus has a big upper hand right now. Look at all the other leagues where there's
course.
3, maybe 4 points difference. When you have, look at France, for example. PSG hasn't lost a game in France, and they have such a big. There's no competition. Instead, Juventus, we thought that they were going to have some slip-ups, but as of yet, they haven't. They win.
Juventus
They did
has
have slip up with Genoa.
some.
That's a slip up.
That's a
They have a
tie.
tough.
This was a tie too. Napoli and Kiev was a tie.
But I'm saying Juventus has to lose. Juventus still hasn't lost.
Well, they have to play Inter,
Yeah.
right, and Roma, I think, right. So those are two tough. I think in the next 3-4 weeks,
We'll see.
they have a lot.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be
a
going
lot of
back
tough
to this.
competition coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Inter, they could beat Juventus.
On the paper,
Yeah.
Inter should be better than Juventus.
Not better. But the thing is, I'm not saying that they're not going to drop points. I'm saying Juventus is going to drop points.
You got
but
the best defense.
The fact that it's already 8 points. Now let's see head to head, like Gaetano said. Let's see how they do versus the other top teams.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they already have an 8-point advantage, it's very unlikely that Napoli is not going to lose any more points or Inter is not going to lose any more points. So those points spread goes up.
But you have the hope that the rest of the team, like Lazio, Milan, and all
of
the rest,
course.
they do their little part contributing, just taking a tie here, a tie there, 2
Yeah.
points, maybe 3 points, a win. You never know. You
Yeah.
have to just play your heart when
Yeah.
you play against Juventus because it's the devil.
Sure.
The devil. I mean, you see Agnelli, you just want to
No,
see.
that's AC Milan.
I know, but you see, the face of Agnelli is like the face of a devil. So you want to just get that guy to lose
what I
because
did
I
to
want to
do
see
on this
him
one.
crying. That's I wanted to see that guy.
What about
The guy-
Nedved?
Oh, Nedved is like a lapdog. He's not even.
He's talking about this one.
You know, when Nedved was a very good player, excellent player, but for him to be just, be reduced to just be sitting next to him and say yes sir all the time, it's just stupid.
You think
That's
it's
what you
Nedved
think.
or
That's what you think it
Agnelli?
is.
That's the yes, sir.
Nedved's got no decision making over there. It's like a PR guy that has to sit over there. He has to keep his hair nice and straight and things like that. And he has to smile when the camera just focuses on him. End of the story.
Anyway, back to football. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the results.
Yeah.
Juventus won 2-0 against Spal. We touched upon it. Inter 3-0 against Frosinone.
Wow.
Your boy, Antonio and I talked about this, that Keita Balde, you were saying even last week that you weren't happy. I think that Keita Balde might have heard, and he heard what you wanted to say, and he played
Finally.
his best game for an Inter jersey, right?
Yeah.
Scored 2 goals. Lautaro Martinez, 2 on the score sheet. Always a good sign to see your
You got a
your
lot of
players from-
weapons over there, Pete. I'm telling you, you got a lot of weapons.
What's coming this season?
The triplet, right? By far.
We first got to get out the group.
They got it. Listen, they got it. And with Spalletti,
He was nervous today. You should have seen his face.
oh yeah? Well, was he kicking the water bottle like Mourinho and things like that? Was he screaming?
Mourinho
That
lost
was
his
funny.
mind.
Oh, he lost
Did you guys
his
see
mind?
that? You saw what Mourinho did?
Oh my
That
God.
was so funny.
I wanted to see that video.
Yeah.
I wanted
You
to
didn't see it?
No.
We'll show
Mike,
you.
pop it up, please.
Pop up the
While
video,
those
Mourinho.
guys are talking, I wanted to see Mourinho.
He what's it called? Fellaini scored 91st minute. By the way, with
Yeah.
his hand, it touched his hand.
Of course.
Again, no VAR. But Mourinho, he took up the water bottles. He threw it. I think he picked it up like 2 or 3 times. He took up the water bottle.
That guy should be locked up. He should be really locked up.
For throwing the water bottle?
The next video will be Mourinho goes to jail.
Oh boy. Oh my God. Look at him.
Mike,
Oh my goodness gracious. What's this?
video number 2. Mourinho goes to jail. Yeah,
Show again.
It's the
Show
same.
again.
It's
Show
the
again.
same thing over and
Show him
over.
again.
Oh my God.
Wait, look,
That
it
guy
looks.
must get
That was like when he used to coach Inter versus Milan.
They
That's
should
what he
put
used
him
to
on
do.
Prozac or some lithium or something like that. The guy's crazy. He's lost his mind.
Oh man, when I saw that, all I thought about was your face when you watched this. I said it's
Oh,
gonna be
me?
so funny.
I
Yeah,
just watch it right now.
I know.
This is ridiculous, guys. This is, how many million people are watching this guy over here doing that kind of stuff?
A lot.
This is not, you're not sending the right signal for the young kids.
Let's go on. Let's go on. We talked about
And
now.
so, imagine if he was not happy.
We're not
the
going
guy
on.
was happy and he took all of those bottles.
No, that was
and slammed them on the
happy.
floor. But
That
that's
was-
what I'm saying.
Oh.
Imagine if he was not happy. We'll take a gun and we're starting gun down people. I mean, the guy's crazy. He should be locked up. Not a good coach,
Like
I'm
this?
telling you. Yo,
Like this?
Like this. No, like maybe like that.
I'm kidding because he
Okay.
did the thing. Let's talk about your Devils. You want to talk about the Devils?
Oh.
We'll talk about AC Milan against Lazio. You guys, I think you were going to field like 5 players for this game. You started with Abate, Zapata, Ricardo Rodriguez in the back line, 3-man back line with these guys. I know you guys hit with a lot of injuries. And the thing that I kept saying, my perspective, I was more surprised in Lazio. I said Lazio and Rome against this Milan. I said Lazio should be able to do this. They're under a lot of pressure. I thought that they were, I'm sorry, I thought they were going to win 2-0, 3-0 maybe against Milan. But Milan was in the match.
It was in the match. Milan should have won 2-3-0 for the match because I watched the game and I think Lazio didn't deserve the tie. They did not.
They tied in the 94th minute. You guys scored like 77,
Inzaghi
78.
went crazy. Did you see that?
That's another guy. That's another guy that he lost his mind during the field. But
Well, how could you not?
I like Inzaghi a lot more than I like Spalletti and Mourinho.
What do you think about it?
No, I would like to tell him if you heard what the Prime Minister.
Oh yeah.
said
I saw
Gattuso.
Gattuso.
Well, he's not the
Gattuso
Prime
comment.
Minister, but he's one of the
Deputy
ministers.
Prime Minister.
The deputy, what he said to Gattuso.
In other words, Gattuso told him, just stick with your day job and mind your own business. Let me worry about AC Milan. Yeah.
So he criticized Gattuso because of the lineup, and he says he doesn't read the game well and doesn't put the right players. What do you think?
No, actually, what he made a point that Gattuso should have used couple subs. But, while the game was
he doesn't
was,
read
was
the game
ended.
well. He should have made changes.
I think Gattuso was right. I said,
subs.
listen, you should be the last one to talk because Italy is not in great shape right now, and you want one of the reasons why Italy is not doing well. So why don't you try to do your job first very well, and then maybe we can see what you do right, and we can try to.
What about his criticism?
This guy was.
No, but he's saying,
No,
what do
no.
you think?
What do you think that-
you
that
agree?
Gattuso should've made
It's
a
out of
sub.
place. It's out of place.
But that's not.
Not his question.
Yeah. What's your question then?
His question.
Did he read the game well? Was the deputy minister right? That maybe he didn't
No,
read
it
the
was
game
not
well.
right.
He didn't make the right
No.
changes.
If you look at the play,
Uh,
the way this guy here scored the 1-1, it was almost with the back against the goal. And Donnarumma was almost on the ball. And the ball went through 7 or 8 defenders. It's not that this guy here was left one-on-one with Donnarumma. It just was one of those freaky play that you just... You are ball lucky with 10 stars, 10 gold stars. The guy got the ball. He turns, and while he was turning, the ball perfectly shot. It goes through 20 different kind of legs and cleanly just hits the...
Wait, you're acting like Kessia's goal was a clean goal. It's a deflection.
He took a shot and it was a deflection. But we were winning 1-0 until the last 15
What does that
seconds.
do, though?
I'm just
It's
saying.
nothing to do with that.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
this
you're.
guy's a Milan hater. Don't worry about him.
I have nothing against Milan. I'm
yeah,
happy
you have
for-
everything against
You
Milan.
ready? I'm gonna say something in favor of Milan.
Yes.
And I think it's gonna change a lot of people's perspectives. Gattuso took over Milan a year ago, almost to the day. And since Gattuso took over AC Milan, there are only 2 teams that have made more points than him. Those 2 teams, Juventus and Napoli. Gattuso has earned more points in his first year at Milan than Inter, than Roma, than anybody else.
Did you take a note, Gaetano? So stop criticizing Gattuso.
Are you playing in the Champions League right now?
Well, listen, we're getting there little by little.
Okay.
All right.
What do you think about that? I was very surprised to see that. To be fair, it was only 1 point above Inter and I think 1 point above Roma.
I wanted to see your father's face when Juventus is going to win the Champions League. We're going to have a lot of champagnes over here. Actually, the game was.
You said Inter's going to win Champions League.
It's either going to be Inter or Juventus. Okay.
In the final.
So we're going to have a lineup of different type of
Inter
champagnes.
Juventus final.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Oh, that would be
That'll be
nice.
nice.
That'll be
That'll be
nice.
good.
Who do you go for?
To be honest with you, I'll go for Inter.
The thing is, if I asked you that question, you would have said the same thing about you.
Listen to me. As much as I hate them, for this time only, I will go for Inter.
What kind of Milanista are you?
I have Milanista. And anything that that makes any other team winning other than Juventus, I'll go for it. But I guess as long as an Italian team wins, who cares,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, I gave you a nice stat. You should be happy with me, right? Another thing I want to talk about. Empoli against Atalanta. Atalanta was up 2-0 in this match. They lost 3-2 to Empoli. Empoli, in their history, have never overcome 2 goals, and they won. And Empoli scored, I think, 90th minute. They were able to score. Incredible. Number 1, wow, Empoli. Number 2, I think that we have to call into question your love of Gasperini over here for a minute. Do you still think that Gasperini is...
It's
Top
not going to
coach.
happen that often. Listen, every
Top
great coach can have not a bad day. Gasparini didn't have a bad day. The team had a bad day.
So
End
now
of
it's a
story.
team.
Yes.
When it's Manchester United, it's Mourinho. When it's Gasperini, it's a team.
Again, Mourinho did not invent anything.
What did
Let's
Gasperini
talk about
do?
Gasperini. Sorry.
Gasperini is a great coach. Believe me, they had just a big slip up over there, and then the team is still trying to little by little to crank again. Don't forget that those guys, this
But
franchise.
that's the idea of a great coach. That when you're winning 2-0, your team does not give up or lose 3-2.
In soccer we say la palla è rotonda in Italy. So that means anything can happen. But in some situations, sometimes you have situational play that
Not a 2-0 lead.
Look what happened to AC Milan. AC Milan, they thought that they had the game already. The guy with his back
Yeah,
on
it's
the ball
1-0,
and
but
boom,
it's
boom,
different.
Just wound up scoring. It's just those are games that you're supposed to put on the bag and just go to the bank. But it doesn't work that way all the time. So
Let's talk about Parma. Parma won 2-1 over Sassuolo. And guys, Parma's in 6th place, which means they're in Europa League currently.
How
as it
crazy is
stands.
that?
From Serie B, right now they're in
Serie
Europa
B,
League.
they're bankrupt all the way. Think about
I meant last year.
But how
but
crazy is
from
that?
the relegation team. And I think that Antonio and I talked about this. We said that Parma's a great example for teams coming up who invested. What?
Your body in
Oh, yeah.
3 years.
There we go. You need a player like Gervinho who's really able to. He loves the Serie A. He loves Italy. So the way that he's implemented, I think it says a lot about Parma too. The pull that they have to be able to pull a guy like Gervinho, even coming from Serie B.
And listen, let's not downplay Parma. Parma in the beginning
historical
was
team,
always
yeah.
among the 4th, 5th best team in Italy. And then the franchise took a big dive because of Parmalat and all of those scandals. Economic scandals that they tarnished the team and
in the 90s, they were a powerhouse.
a
European.
powerhouse. I remember Crespo
Thuram,
playing with them.
Buffon,
Thuram,
Cannavaro,
Buffon. They
Veron.
they created. They displayed some of the best players that they still.
Crespo.
Some of them, they're around right now.
Cannavaro.
Cannavaro. So,
I know.
Right.
I know.
And don't forget that Parma is one of the best city in Italy, where there is nothing but the best product coming from there. The prosciutto di Parma comes from there. The Parmigiano Reggiano comes from there. Some of the best pasta tortellini. Maybe we'll have them sponsor our podcast. So instead of be talking
them
on
a
the
message.
mic over here, we'll be talking
Tortellini.
on a plate of tortellini or
We'll be talking about
You're getting us all hungry
or
now.
tagliatelle or a little
We
parmigiano.
got that question over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I was just gonna say.
Instead of having Mike once in a
coming
while
in
with his
time.
feta cheese, we'll switch from feta. We'll switch to Parmigiano over here.
Okay, let's go to the derby. Genoa against Sampdoria. The fans were incredible. This is one of the derbies I think that Europe still hasn't recognized as one of the most passionate. You see
It's
a lot
incredible.
of River and Boca goes around, but I'm not trying to say that comparable, but they are.
They put on a crazy show.
And they were. The fans were
It's
incredible.
amazing.
Sampdoria took the lead. Fabio Quagliarella, 35 years old. The last 3 derbies, he scored 3 goals. This guy is unbelievable.
35 years old?
35 years old.
35.
We're going to talk. I got a question coming up soon. And then Piontek, of course, scores. He scored from the penalty spot. 10 goals in the Serie A. Top goal scorer. More than Ronaldo, more than Immobile, more than Icardi, more than Cutrone, more than Higuain, more than anybody. He's on 10 goals. So good for him because he went through a little bit of a drought. And I think that it was a good game. It did lose some momentum as the match went on. But guys, we had a question. Quagliarella, 35 years old. Does he belong back into the Italian national team?
Yes and no.
No.
Yes and no. One or the other. You're gonna call him. You're not gonna
yes, because you appreciate all of the effort that this guy's putting on and the display of greatness at his age. But we are in the process of rebuilding the team, and you have to just get somebody else that he needs to be establishing himself as the forward of the Italian national team. And
But I think
Quagliarella right now, I tip my hat to him. It's not the player that we should be looking for. But
I'll play the argument.
we are enjoying watching him anyway.
Just to have some fun. There could be an argument to say let go of a guy like Immobile or Belotti, let Quagliarella be there, and let Cutrone and then be there, and let Quagliarella be a guy that actually scores goals. What do you guys say to that?
Well, Belotti's not has disappointed me. I have to be honest with you.
Does he
because,
score?
Not really.
So
That's what I'm saying. He has disappointed me.
Oh, I thought you said has not disappointed.
No. Has disappointed me a lot. So,
Peter, what do you think?
and
What-
so
the
is
question I said.
Insigne and Immobile, because those guys are very good franchise players, but it comes down to the Italian national team. They a bunch of chokers. I don't
Peter.
see them stepping up and at the same level that they play on their franchise. That's it. What do you think?
No, I think actually Antonio said it best in the beginning. Based on,
Wow, Anto.
yeah,
Good job.
No, to say that Quagliarella definitely, because national team is supposed to be like an honor, right?
best
You're
player,
doing good,
yeah.
you're playing well, you score goals. As far as the striker is concerned, that's the player. Quagliarella has always been throughout his career a player that can score goals from anywhere. He has this imagination to see the goal and take a shot.
An incredible goal,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
They call him
So-
Mr. Wonder Goal.
But the right now Italy needs players for the future, needs players for a project, and Quagliarella unfortunately doesn't fit that project unless he's willing to be like that fifth striker on the bench. I would love to have Quagliarella.
So look, we got a maybe out of all this.
Hey,
Now, you
Mancini,
already
if you're
said no?
listening to this, maybe you call him up.
I could definitely see a maybe. Why not? Like a fifth striker, like you said. We're not saying to start some, but if you need an important goal, you bring someone on with experience. You never know.
I honestly think that my bigger point is I think that a guy like maybe Immobile should be dropped for a time just to give him a rest and allow something else to flow for Italy, because I don't see anything coming from him.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you got to look at it. That Zuri called the best informed players at the time. So even if he's 35 years old, if he's playing very well, he's scoring, why not calling him up? I'm not saying to start him, but at least have them in the roster.
I mean, if you're rebuilding a team, I'm not sure if that's the right player, but I know that Mancini wanted to call a few of the players of the older players, just to have them with the young players, so that the older players can teach the younger players and show them the way. I'm not sure if Quagliarella is that kind of player that he can show the young players the right way. I know that we're struggling big time scoring with the national team, and that last game that we played, we needed to win, and maybe somebody
score.
we can score. Maybe somebody like Quagliarella in that game, it could have made the difference.
Oh, so we got 3 maybes from all nose to 3 maybes.
In the long run.
No, maybe not the
And
long run. We're
four.
not saying the long. At the time,
I agreed for one of the few times that I agreed with Marcus that maybe we should be sitting Immobile and maybe as an alternative, sometime Immobile, sometime Insigne, not sitting them to rest them, but just to say, hey,
Make sure they know it's not so that they
by
rest.
the way, you're not producing what you've been asked to produce in the Italian national team. So maybe you might want to think a little bit, down the line that says that your place here is not, it's not given. So there is a lot of people competing for your position. So when you come, try to to be more concrete when you come in, and try to be more assertive and do the job that is being asked from you to do. So that I agree 100% with him, because those guys every time they said, "Oh, this is the list of the Italian national player," and then you go from the defender and all the stuff, and then you said, "Okay, Insigne, Immobile, Belotti, and such and such."
Yeah, but it's not that they don't try. They try. I mean, they're very proud to be there. You could see that they try very hard. They're pressing. They're doing all. The thing is that when you get to the national team, you have to raise. It's another level. Yeah. Some players can raise the next level. They can go to the next level, and score in the national team. Some players can score in the championship, but when they get to the next level.
But I see a little level of complacency, Gaetano. I see some of them that say, hey, you know what? Whether I score or whether I don't score, I'm still going to be called in the Italian national
absolutely
team.
not.
I'm sure that they wanted to score, but they're not doing it.
I disagree with you.
They're not doing it. That's the bottom line.
But it's a very fine line, because what happens is if you put that pressure, first off, Immobile, 10 years ago, he wouldn't even be on the national team.
Right.
Okay? Because there's so many better players than him. From 10 years ago.
Right.
Or because you could just think of the coach right now, Mancini, he was rarely called up to the national team because he had 10 times better players that were in front of him, and he was considerably one of the better players in Serie A.
In the championship.
Yeah.
When he went to the national team,
he was yeah. But at that time you had better players that you can say, okay, sit down. Now where you only have a handful of players, and I mean a handful of players, it's really hard to say, okay, either show up or go home. It's completely different.
This is making me thinking, Peter, listen, that this guy here, what's his name? For example, Insigne on the Napoli, and then we have Immobile Insigne and Immobile, those are players that their fortune is been basically driven by other franchise players that unfortunately they're not Italian national team players. We have Milik, we have I don't know Hamsik. We have other players that they Mertens that they match and they just they.
What kind of players? Franchise players.
Yeah. But they're not the Italian national team players. Mertens played for Belgium, for example. Milik is a Polish guy. So those are players that they know they have a spectacular fluidity when they play for Napoli. When you play for the Italian national team, those guys maybe they miss that kind of leadership that is being given to them and help. This is actually the help that I'm just trying to say. They don't have the help that they have into their franchise. Like Napoli or Lazio or AC Milan and all that stuff. When you go to the Italian national team, those are the players. They say, okay, show me what you have.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with you. Let's move on. Mike's going to get some questions from people. I got one real quick. Just a fun topic. Giuseppe Rossi. He's being linked with a move to MLS now. So we got a question about it. I remember I was reading. He said, they asked, what do you guys think if he will come to maybe New York or any other MLS team?
Absolutely. Listen, Giuseppe Rossi can play in any team. Giuseppe Rossi, when he was healthy, and if he's healthy, he can play in any franchise. To me, he's one of the best players. He was an Italian national team player. He played in Juventus. He played he played in Florence. You don't tell me now Giuseppe Rossi is what do you think? I mean, they should be honored to have somebody like him playing in the MLS.
Actually, I agree with you.
still think
for
he's
him,
good.
for him, he will be downgrading himself to come and play on MLS.
Yeah, I'm surprised that nobody picked him up. He's been practicing with the Red Bulls, I understand, and he would love to join the MLS. And I can't believe that nobody picked him up.
Maybe Giovanni can take him. Giovanni might.
Cagliari was talking about it, but
Yeah, I guess they didn't.
No,
Maybe in the January Mercato, maybe, who knows?
I'm just saying that they're linking him
I
now.
mean,
I don't know if it's true.
If he's healthy, he can make the difference. I mean, the guy is very, very good, and he's the nicest guy you want to meet. So we got a chance, to meet him and to Marco, to play with him, scrimmage games. I mean, the nicest player. And the guy is good. The guy is very good. So, all the luck to
Giuseppe. If
Giuseppe.
you're watching,
we all
we would do 1,000%, not 100%. So
I agree.
maybe AC Milan can use somebody like that instead of waiting for Higuain to.
we're all cheering for you, Giuseppe.
Yeah.
I agree with you. One last thing. Mike's gonna get to questions now, but
hey, listen. Why don't we spend a couple seconds saying something so nice about the Portland? Giovanni is doing an extremely wonderful job over there with
Portland
Timbers.
with the Timbers.
we
It's
don't
unbelievable.
we don't really watch MLS, but if you guys have been following the podcast for some time, or we've got a family friend who's also Italian, who's a coach of the Portland Timbers that we all know personally, and they're in the. Is it the MLS
Conference
Conference finals?
Yeah.
Which is a semifinal.
Semifinals, basically, for
Right?
the whole thing.
And they won the first match.
They tied.
No, they
0-0.
tied.
Okay.
Yeah. Now they're gonna play the
Yeah,
second
for the
one.
people that don't know, just Giovanni Savarese is from the metropolitan area, and he played for the Metro Stars, and we
highest scorers of the Metro Stars.
right, and he coaches the Cosmos, so we know him very well, and we used to practice together. So the nicest guy you want to meet, and I've been watching the playoffs. He's doing very well, and they played on Sunday. They play Sunday night.
Kansas City, right?
They played home, which they have like 100 sold out games in a
They
row.
have crazy fans.
I wish that I could go and watch that game. And they did play well. They press. They put a lot of energy. They put pressure on the other team, and they could have. They should have won the game. And Giovanni, if you play with the same energy in the return game, you're gonna go to the final.
I love about MLS, by the way, the stadiums are packed.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta had. Was it 60, 70,000?
70,000.
I mean, you look at that and then you compare it to Roma, the Roma game, Lazio. You had Lazio Milan, empty. empty. So it's a good thing that MLS. I mean,
Yeah,
they have a real culture around.
A lot of people actually make fun of the MLS, like, oh, they don't care about it.
And
But
we
if you
do a
actually
little
look-
bit, but
Yeah, we do a little bit. But if you look, there's actually a lot of passion and it's building throughout the years, which is
the
good
one
to
thing
see.
that I think that is a little bit maybe annoying, and I think that I was like this when I was younger. They always said Americans don't know soccer, Americans don't know football, they don't know real football, right? True, a lot don't. But at least they're trying to learn. Everybody started at one point, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So at least the idea of trying to learn, like I know a lot of the guys in Atlanta, they were saying, oh, they're not real fans. You know, they're just going there because it's cool to go. Yeah, but you
That's
go
not
there as
true.
it's cool,
Not
you bring
true.
your family,
Yeah.
and then the kids learn, everybody learns together. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Listen,
So
I
I
want
like
to
to
say
see
one
it.
more thing about Giovanni. We used to go and watch the game. You remember to the Hofstra University. Every time I see Giovanni's putting the team on the field and the way he transmits his passion for the game and how angry he is for the game, and I see his team. The guy, he excels at everything that he does. I mean, he stepped up from a lower division. He goes on the MLS, and Portland is right there, right on the top. And now they are almost getting closer to the final. And I just wish him nothing but the best to win, because it's like
All of us.
Yeah, it's like we have a piece of ourselves.
We're always rooting for him.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. We're definitely all there.
Well, I find myself switching with the channels on the stuff, and I see Giovanni's team playing. I said, I stop everything and I watch it. So
I was too. He's gotten me because of him. I've been watching more of MLS. But yeah, Mike, go to some questions.
Okay, let's move around.
one more thing, Marco, and then I want to say something else. I wanted to know.
He's already planning.
One more thing, and
I
then I guess
Whoa! I want to know what's going on with this, Boca Junior and.
I have a topic about that.
You have a topic?
Yeah,
Okay.
Genoa, the city of Genoa, they proposed for the game to be played over there in
In the
Italy.
Luigi
because
Ferraris.
they're going to get rid of it in Argentina. They're not going to play it in Argentina.
That is crazy.
So they want it to be played at Luigi Ferrari's. You guys think that would be a good idea?
Well, I heard that Miami is a possibility, a very strong possibility.
That would make more sense. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But
they're not going to go to Italy. But
I know.
Miami makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why Genoa offered was because a lot of the Argentinian population that immigrated there came from Genoa.
Yeah.
And actually, Boca Juniors.
Boca Juniors means Genovese or something, right?
Yeah, but the actual presidents were all from Genoa, and they're
These
the
are-
ones
yeah,
that
big-
got the name.
Well,
and
at
they
one
nicknamed
point in
Genoese.
the 1900s, it was only one team, and then it was the same family. And then what happened is they split up, and by splitting up, Boca represents the poor section, the poor neighborhoods of Buenos Aires, and River moved
River Plate.
into the rich area, the rich neighborhood of Buenos Aires, and they call it Millonarios, which is
Oh yeah, I know.
so and that's how they
I've heard that before.
They kind of mirror each other, even the way.
I can't believe that these guys can't
so
play.
it's
They're
that
freaking-
game. The game is not a soccer game. It's not a football game,
It's like a fight.
but it's a
like
social. There's more.
It looks like a war.
Yeah,
Jeez.
It's a war.
It represents
Everything pretty
Buenos
much.
Aires. It represents the
whole
culture.
country.
It represents the city. It represents the social, the poor against the rich. There's a lot going on
It's
there.
more than just a sport.
Right.
It kind of
but
remind me
listen,
of the
I
Palio,
understand.
the Palio of Siena, when those guys fighting for their respective contrada. The horses, they'll trick, they'll drive somebody else off the track, and they're crazy.
I understand that. I understand that there's deepness, but at the end of the match, it's a football match. There's no need to break the guy's window. At the end of the day, yeah, maybe it's for social. You say, "Oh, I don't like you. I don't like you." But breaking their windows and damaging the player's eyes, guess what? At the end of the day, nobody went inside the match. Nobody watched football. So you don't watch football. You didn't get
But
the
how
end
did you
goal
fall,
of this.
Gaetano? How did you fall about that? I would say security. That is not good
Security
enough.
was horrible, but also
So,
the culture of the fans. I think it needs
Yeah,
to be.
but
It
the
got
security
postponed
can only go
twice.
to a
Yeah,
certain.
they can only do
But they
so
were doing a
much.
really poor
extent.
job, though.
Yes, but
That was-
it's
But
out in the open.
how much
It's,
they
it's
outnumber
very hard to
Peter?
control
You know
all
that
those
the
people.
bus is going to come into the stadium. Don't let anybody just within the next 150 feet or 200 feet just crowd the area and just have them striking them with Molotov.
That was ridiculous. And then they wanted to
That's
play
crazy.
the match. Well, that was crazy. The whole situation was crazy. But anyway, Mike, get to your question.
Get the question.
Oh yeah, okay. We got an inter one actually. There's one that says, does Spalletti rely too much on individual quality, and when the when the players aren't performing, does Inter struggle?
Who said
and is
that?
Spalletti overrated? This guy's name's Fat Totti.
Absolutely. Look
I-
at the
you were
picture.
avoiding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're saying he doesn't play as a unit, more of a individual
it's just
thing?
he's one or two franchise players that they're just hoping that.
How many times have you said franchise in this episode? We need a counter. Whoever's watching and
Banana makes the difference over there. If Vanda scores, Inter wins. If
somebody
Vanda
please make a
doesn't score,
counter.
Forget it.
Vanda, you didn't say a lot today.
Yeah.
But between Cassano, Vanda, and franchise, oof.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think that Spalletti gave Inter some tactics, and they do have a play. They're playing good soccer. I mean, in the last month and a half, would you say? Okay, what did they have? 7-8 wins in a row. I mean,
Yeah,
I
sure.
think that Spalletti is giving them some kind of
Identity.
identity. And the other thing that I have to say for Inter, I think they have the money, and good job in getting Marotta.
That's true.
Very good job.
Almost official.
Because
It should be official soon.
because this guy Marotta, not only he was the golden ball of the directors in Europe. He won the first prize, but he knows everybody. He's got contacts with all the players. He knows all the other agents that deal with the players. And he might bring some interesting players young players in Inter.
Even the bigger players too, with Inter having a lot of funds
but,
like that.
now they're talking about Tonali, Pellegrini.
Yeah, money talks like Juventus.
Well, I think it's something that Inter's been missing for a long time. We haven't had that face of the franchise, right? Because Milan had Galliani. Juventus,
You could have got
Agnelli.
Galliani. You could have got after Galliani. Galliani is no longer employed by Berlusconi, so you could have
He's
taken
Monza.
Galliani.
Monza.
Monza?
All right,
He's a
Monza.
Monza.
Right.
So the point is, now Marotta's there. He can be the spokesperson for Inter, because Zanetti is more the image of
The
Inter.
PR,
The same like the
Yeah,
Totti.
Barella was the guy that are they talking about Barella too?
Milan is on Barella too, so you're gonna have to just
Yeah,
fight.
so-
I mean, whoever goes to Champions League is going to have first rule.
You think so?
100%.
Yeah, you have more money to purchase the player. No, but
and also the will of the player.
yeah, I think like Gaetano said, Spalletti's created this identity now for Inter that they're on the right track. They were able to get the Champions League spot. Now they're playing better, and then also depending on who they play, he's able to mix some players in. We have players coming up, Lautaro Martinez and Keita, who had a fantastic game versus Frosinone. So I mean,
I don't want to
count them.
With you guys.
I don't want to count
I'll tell you
them
the reasons
out.
why. For the same reason you just said what you just said right now, that you got Nainggolan, you got you have all of those top of the line
Inter's
midfielders.
midfield could.
That's what I'm saying. Why would Barella go in and just
We need.
crowd an area that is already overcrowded? So Barella will be perfectly fitting on AC Milan, it's just
What do you
slide
mean?
right
You
in.
got crowded too. You got Kese, Bakayoko, all those guys.
Bakayoko, come on, Bakayoko.
Mike, what's your next
Let me
question?
give it another one. There's a pretty good one too. Will Roma get top 4 in this season? I don't have.
You don't have
It's
the
a
name?
mix-
That's
yeah,
okay.
It's from Instagram.
Anyway.
What do you guys think?
No.
No.
I'll say
This is such a
no.
tough one, man.
Yeah.
I said yes in the beginning, but I'm having mixed feelings now.
It is a good question.
Yeah,
No,
like
it's
we
difficult.
said before, with Roma, you don't know.
You know why? Because AC Milan is going to be the fourth.
They're in 7th place, by the way, currently. 7th place. Right under Parma. A point behind Parma.
No.
Yeah, I don't think this year they're gonna do it.
You don't think so? No, what do you think? 5th? From now, you think?
Okay. So next question, because we need to wrap up.
Okay.
Get away with the last question.
Okay, this is a funny one that we were talking about before. It's kind of weird. It comes from Forza Milan. His question is: if you had to
You're probably
compare,
a friend.
if you had to compare each of your teams to a pasta dish, what would they be?
To what? A pasta dish?
What the hell does that mean?
Oh boy.
What does that mean?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Give me
That's a
something
Come on.
from
question.
Milan. What would
Come
Milan
on, you were
be?
talking about Tagliatelle. We were talking about all
AC
that
Milan
stuff.
will be.
Pasta asciutta.
You have to explain what that means. I have no clue what that is.
AC Milan will be lasagna.
Why?
Why?
Lasagna, because it's one of the best dishes that.
I thought you were gonna say Messi.
Not lasagna, the player, Udinese's player. No, AC Milan will be lasagna, okay?
Peter, what about you? What about Inter?
Oh man, it's like a gnocchi, you know.
Gnocchi.
Why?
Because it tastes good, but sometimes you get too full.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It would be spaghetti, but without any sauce.
Next one, and that's it. I gotta
Is that
go.
it?
I gotta go to play tennis.
We'll
guys.
throw
Come
a
on.
quick one. So the Mark, this straight to you. This is from Anthony. How do you feel if Juve go face to face with PSG and Buffon in the Champions League?
What do you mean?
Like, are you gonna feel anything towards Buffon or like?
Come on,
you're
when you
gonna
go
be
on the
good?
field 90 minutes, doesn't matter if I'm playing against my dad, it doesn't matter if I'm playing against my friend, if I play against you.
So no feelings. I know you were saying
Come
before
on.
how you wanted them to
I
score
wish him the
against-
best. I love him, and he's all he does, by the way, is
Yeah.
constantly prove how unbelievable he still is and should be playing at the top class. By the way, for Mr. Gaetano, Mr. Antonio over here, who was saying that he was done, he's still at PSG, one of the best teams in the
I never said.
Yeah, you did.
I never
You-
said
yes,
it was
you
done.
did.
No.
Yes, you
did.
did.
Gotta
go back.
Yes,
Let's
you
go
did.
back.
You guys wanted to play in Coppa Italia and all this lazy
No,
stuff.
We're not done yet. I'm not
No,
done.
go
All I'm
back.
saying-
Go back to
Gaetano,
your.
did you say
Go
this?
back
To your
to the
podcast.
Did
podcast.
you say that? Or no?
I did say.
You said he's done with the national team.
I said that he should have stayed with Juventus. The Juventus should have kept him for another year. I did say that.
I did say he was declining, but
You
I
guys
still
all
said he
said
was
it.
class. I never said he was finished. I always said he was class.
Guys, 40 years old. Name another player 40 years old that still does it. Name another player.
Listen,
You're not
guys,
40 years old.
Listen, guys, we are about to wrap up over here. Don't forget that the merchandise is still flying off the shelf.
Yeah,
It's
Black
still
Friday
how
sale.
much is off?
25 to 30.
25 to 30% off. And one more thing I need to say. We are you and you are us.
Maybe
over
you.
Here. No, because we're here right now
What
with
about
all
that
the
one?
work that we need to
No,
do.
it's good.
Over here we need to
No,
do.
it's good. You're good. You're good.
With all
You're
the
good.
work that we need to do, we're here because you're asking us to be here, and we are very happy to be bringing your voice into this table over here. So this is going to be my last word because my tennis game is about to start. So
Perfect.
Besides
Oh,
everything,
last thing.
yeah.
Totti ignited to the Hall of Fame of Roma. So congratulations
Congratulations,
to Totti.
of
And
course.
finally,
Totti.
Fabio Grosso's birthday was today.
Okay,
The man
happy
that-
birthday,
that
happy
didn't do
birthday.
that.
Gave
Oh,
us
you
the
didn't give him
4
much
stars.
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave
And-
you the 4 stars over there.
There you go.
Wait,
welcome.
Castano played with.
Castano played with Grosso too. Yeah. once
Wait,
in
he
a
played
while.
with the 4 stars is what he's asking.
Yeah, he did. He did. He
Castano,
did.
Castano
He did?
can play with 20 stars. The star. Castano is the star.
Very good,
Okay?
guys. If you're watching, subscribe. If you're new, like this video. Rate the podcast 5 stars.
stars.
5 stelle.
And don't forget about the sale, guys.
Not the
Not
party.
the Cinque Stelle, not the politician.
Not the party.
Not the party. There you go.
Okay, thank you guys.
Cinque
We'll talk to you
Stelle,
soon.
5
Ciao,
stars.
guys.
All right, guys.
Ciao.